In this video, we will be having a look at how to add a new client in Chintaro. Clients are all the people that we deal with, and each person must have their own client record. To add a new client to Chintaro, from the home screen, we click on Clients, then Manage Clients. This opens up the Client search screen. To add a new client, we click on the Add Client button at the top of the screen. This opens up a blank client screen, which is separated into different sections. The General section on the left contains all of the general information about our client. The Demographics section in the middle contains all of the demographic information about our client. The Income section is used to record our client's specific incomes, and, moving down, the Support Agency section is used to record information regarding agencies or people who are providing additional support to our client. Up the top here, we have the Tags and Alerts section where we can tag certain characteristics to our clients, and below that we have the Arrears Actions and Related Links sections. Finally, the large section on the right here is the Notes section, where we can record notes about the client and also where the system records notes about the client. We also have some additional functions at the top of the screen here. Let's get an understanding of all the fields on the client screen by adding our new client, Billy Bragg. When we're entering a new client, we start at the top left and work our way down. So first we enter our client's title, which we can see has a grey arrow in the field, indicating that it's a drop-down list. When we drop this list down, we will select Mr. We enter his first names as Stephen William and enter his surname as Bragg. When we entered the given name, the Also Known As field defaulted to the same name, but as he is known as Billy, we can then enter his preferred name in the AKA field. We then move to the gender field where we'll select male. We have the ability to record where we're getting our client referrals from in the referral field. If we want to record this information, we can drop this list down and select where Billy was referred from, including if your client self-refers. This, along with all other drop-down lists in Chintaro, are completely customizable for your organisation, where you can add or remove options in the list, and your system administrator is able to maintain these drop-down lists through system maintenance and reference tables. Billy self-referred to us, so we'll select Self Family Friends. Next, we have the registration date, and this is the date that our client first came into contact with our organisation. Usually, the registration date will be the date on the client's application form, but this date will always default to today's date. If we want to change this date, we can use the calendar icon or type the date in manually. Next, we enter Billy's date of birth as the 20th of December 1957, and when we press Tab on the keyboard, we will see his age of 61 years old pop up below. Next, we select whether or not this client will be the primary tenant. In Chintaro, we must allocate one person in a household as a primary tenant, and then all other tenants will be related tenants. Allocating a client as a primary tenant doesn't give them any extra rights or responsibilities over anyone else in the household. It's just the way the system works, so we'll leave Billy as the primary tenant. This box is for showing other related tenants, and we'll have a look at this when we look at households, so we'll move to the address field. We enter an address of a client when they're not currently tenanted with us, so we'll put in 157 Mount Eden Road. If our client is currently tenanted with our organisation, we leave the address field blank because it will be updated later when we create the tenancy for them. Next, we type the name of the city, town or suburb of your client, or select from the drop-down list. When we begin to type a city, town or suburb, Chintaro will suggest valid cities. We'll begin to type Mount Eden, and when we see Mount Eden appear, We can press Tab or Enter on the keyboard, and Chintaro will populate with the relevant postcode. If this address is the same as Billy's postal address, we can click Copy to Postal Address, and it will automatically populate the postal address fields. Next, we have two fields for phone numbers for Billy. If we're wanting to SMS our clients through Chintaro, the mobile number that we enter here will default in our SMS message. We can also communicate with our clients through emails in Chintaro, and if our client has an email address, we can enter it into the email field. Next, we have the Public Housing Registered tick box, which we can tick if Billy is registered with the Public Housing Register. If this is the case, we can enter his public housing waiting list number in this field here as well. Then we come to a number of drop-down lists that we can fill out, such as if the client has a disability, their employment details, if they fall into a particular target group your organisation is targeting, such as single mothers, homeless, or the elderly. Billy is homeless, so let's select homeless from this list. The next field is banned, and this is only used by Western Australian Chintaro users. We have a field for bank account, and if we want to record the bank account details for our client, we can type them in here. Rent area override field is used if you need to use a different state's rent calculator and is selected from the drop-down list. And finally, the comments section is where you may want to enter in some comments if there's some other general information that we haven't yet covered. The comments section differs to notes, which we'll have a look at in a later video. We won't enter any comments here and instead jump up to the demographics section here. The demographics section of the client record is used mainly for your internal reporting. The New Zealand resident box defaults to ticked or true. If our client is not a resident of New Zealand, untick this box. Country where born is where we select the country where our client was born from this drop-down list. We can select our client's ethnicity, their main language, and the client's proficiency in both spoken and written English from these drop-down lists. The work and income section is important if our client receives an income from work and incomes. If this is the case, enter the work and incomes number for the client here. If the client has a Community Services card or a National Health Index number, enter them in the appropriate fields and select the accommodation supplement they're entitled to and the iwi they belong to from these drop-down lists. The next section for incomes is not used in New Zealand, so we'll go straight to support agencies. We can add any support agencies that might be providing support to Billy by clicking the Add Agency button here. Billy is getting support from Pathways, and if we drop this list down, we can't see Pathways in our list, but we have the ability to add a new support agency here by just typing in the support agency field. This is one of the few times in Chintaro that you can type over a field and it will save what you type. If we click elsewhere on the screen, we will get a prompt asking if we want to add this to our list of available support agencies. When we click OK, Chintaro will ask us to put in a default contact name, default phone number, and a default email address for the support agency. After we enter this information and click Update, we enter in any comments about what the support agency provides, in this case providing counselling, and click Update again to save it to the client screen. All of the data we've entered on this screen will automatically save as we enter it. To exit this record, just press Exit on the top right button here. We'll be having a look at the other sections of the client screen as we move through the other videos.